The Birthday Mirage and the Invisible Wall. Imagine a man named Robert. It is his 55th birthday. To the outside observer, Robert is the definition of the American dream. He earns a high six-figure salary, lives in a pristine suburban home with a three-car garage, and his LinkedIn profile is a testament to professional endurance. But as Robert sits in his kitchen at 3 a.m., he is performing a forensic audit of his reality, and the math is screaming. Despite decades of hard work, Robert has realized he is standing at the edge of an invisible cliff. He is what economists call a high-engagement resource, precisely stretched enough to be profitable for the bank, but too fragile to ever walk away. At 55, the age when he expected to be coasting toward freedom, he feels more like a prisoner than ever. He is house-rich and cash-poor, sitting inside a pile of gold while starving for liquidity. The tragedy of the 2026 economy is that Robert is not an outlier. He is the median. Statistics reveal a chilling divergence. While the media highlights the average 45 to 54-year-old as having a net worth near $1 million, the median is a mere $247,200, and most of that is dead equity trapped in drywall. For Robert, and millions like him, the years between 40 and 55 were supposed to be the peak earning years, but they instead became the peak liability years. The first reason most people are financially ruined by 55 is the sandwich generation trap. In 2026, over 54% of Americans in their 40s and 50s are pulling triple duty, supporting aging parents with declining health, raising minor children, and providing a safety net for adult children who have moved back into their old bedrooms. Robert is currently paying $1,400 a month for his mother's assisted living, a cost Medicare doesn't cover, while simultaneously financing his son's lifestyle gap. He is paying for 3 generations of survival out of one whittled-down paycheck. Furthermore, Robert has fallen for the performance of a rival. During his 40s, as his income climbed, he upgraded his lifestyle to match his peer group. He traded the reliable sedan for a luxury SUV and moved into a larger home to secure educational opportunity for his kids, a decision that effectively cost him over $1 million in retirement wealth due to the opportunity cost of that extra mortgage payment. Each decision seemed reasonable in isolation, but they compounded into a wealth prison. The psychological tax of this lifestyle is devastating. Researchers from Harvard and Princeton have documented that chronic financial stress, the constant mental arithmetic of managing massive fixed costs, impairs cognitive performance by roughly 13 IQ points. Robert is making the most critical career and investment decisions of his life, while his brain is in a state of low-level survival panic. He thinks he is making it, but he is actually an under-accumulator of wealth, UAW, processing a vast amount of capital for the benefit of the system while keeping none for himself. In the next part, we will perform a surgery on the midlife debt explosion. We will look at the violence of the Parent Plus loan, the reality of medical debt that hits right before Medicare, and the Boots theory applied to middle-age expenses. The midlife debt explosion and the Parent Plus trap. To understand why the cliff at 55 is so steep, we have to look at the Gen X debt scorecard. According to Experian data from early 2026, the average person in Robert's age group is sitting on $158,155 in total debt, roughly 50% more than the national average. They have the highest credit card balances, the largest mortgages, and the most aggressive auto loans. But the most predatory anchor dragging Robert down isn't his own past, it's his children's future. Robert is currently entangled in what I call the Parent Plus financial violence. To send his daughter to a prestigious university, he took out a Parent Plus loan. In 2026, these loans carry an interest rate of 9.08% plus a 4.2% origination fee. This isn't a student loan. It is a high-interest mortgage on a brain that Robert doesn't even own. You can't refinance these loans, they don't qualify for most forgiveness programs, and at 9%, the interest alone adds roughly $235 a month to a $31,000 balance, while Robert's retirement account limps along at a 6% return. He is mathematically trading his old-age security for a degree that hasn't yet provided his child with a living wage. Then comes the pre-Medicare medical sinkhole. Robert is 55. He is old enough for his body to start reporting errors, but he is a full decade away from Medicare. Statistics show that 44% of adults aged 50 to 64 are carrying some form of medical or dental debt. When Robert's wife needed an unexpected procedure, the out-of-pocket maximum on their high-deductible plan felt like a fine for being a human. Because Robert has zero liquid buffer, only dead equity in his walls, that $6,000 bill went straight onto a credit card at 21% interest. This brings us to the middle-age boots theory. As we audited in previous sessions, the rich man buys $50 boots that last 10 years, while the poor man buys $10 boots that fall apart every season. In middle age, this applies to infrastructure maintenance. Because Robert is cash poor, he defers the small repairs on his home and his health. He ignores the 300 plumbing leak until it becomes a **2500 transmission-style catastrophe. He ignores the minor dental ache until it becomes a $4,000 root canal. By lacking liquidity, Robert is forced to pay a desperation premium on every life event. He pays double for his existence because he doesn't have the $1,000 tactical buffer that destroys the poverty premium. The most insidious part of this explosion is the shadow debt of adult children. Robert is part of the 47% of parents who financially support an adult child, spending an average of $1,384 a month. This isn't just money, it's compounding opportunity cost. If Robert redirected that $1,384 into a diversified index fund for the next 10 years, he would have nearly $230,000 by age 65. Instead, he is subsidizing a 24-year-old's lifestyle gap, effectively setting his own retirement house on fire to keep his son warm. Robert is not failing because he is lazy. He is failing because his fixed cost ratio is calibrated for a version of the world that no longer exists. He has no exit velocity because every dollar of his peak earnings is already spoken for by the bank, the university, and the pharmacy. In the final part, we will discuss the 55-year-old pivot. We will look at the one income foundation for empty nesters, how to disarm the retirement tax bomb, and why Robert's only hope for sovereignty is to stop performing a rival and start a forensic downsizing before the cliff chooses for him. The 55-year-old pivot and the path to sovereignty. To avoid falling off the invisible cliff, Robert must execute what I call the 55-year-old pivot. This is not a series of small adjustments. It is a structural demolition of the success script that led him to this ledge. In the barbell economy of 2026, the only way to survive middle age is to move from a state of high engagement, where you are a profitable crop for the banks, to a state of strategic optionality. Step 1. The forensic downsizing. The most powerful lever Robert holds is the dead equity trapped in his walls. Our forensic audit shows that the forever home is often a wealth prison. Robert lives in a $750,000 house with $400,000 in equity, but his monthly carry costs, taxes, insurance, and maintenance consume 35% of his income. The pivot requires Robert to sell the trophy and move into a right-sized foundation. By moving to a functional $400,000 home, Robert can potentially eliminate his mortgage entirely. This isn't just about losing a monthly payment. It's about killing the phantom carry costs. He saves $2,000 a month in interest and taxes, which, if invested at 55 for just 10 years, compounds to an additional $340,000 by age 65. He trades the Granite Island for a decade of freedom. Step 2. Disarming the retirement tax bomb. Robert has $600,000 in a traditional 401k. He thinks he's a millionaire in waiting, but the IRS is holding the key to his storage unit. At age 73, or 75 for younger viewers, he will be hit with required minimum distributions, RMDs, forced to withdraw money that will be taxed as ordinary income at likely higher future rates. To disarm this bomb, Robert must utilize the hidden Roth conversion window. By aggressively converting a portion of his traditional assets to a Roth IRA during any low-income gap years or before RMDs kick in, he pays the tax today at a known rate to avoid the IRMAA cliff later, the surcharge on Medicare that can cost thousands of dollars a year. He is effectively prepaying his freedom to ensure the government cannot harvest him during his most vulnerable years. Step 3. The One Income Foundation for Empty Nesters. Even though Robert and his wife earn a combined high income, they must restructure their life to be covered by just one of their salaries. The second income must be reclassified as strategic capital. In 2026, this second paycheck shouldn't fund vacations or adult children's lifestyle gaps. It must be directed entirely toward the $100,000 escape velocity buffer. Robert must stop the financial violence of the Parent Plus loans. He must have the uncomfortable conversation with his adult children, explaining that setting his own retirement house on fire to keep them warm is a mathematical failure that helps no one. True love in middle age is ensuring you are not a financial burden to your children in 20 years. Step 4. From performance to presence. The final part of the pivot is psychological. Robert must stop performing a rival. He must realize that admiration and respect are different currencies. Admiration is rented through luxury SUVs and prestigious zip codes. Respect is earned through the silence of a life without financial noise. When Robert reaches the point where the income from his liquid portfolio exceeds his housing carry costs, he reaches his housing freedom date. At that moment, he is no longer a tenant of the bank. He is a sovereign entity. He can wake up on a Tuesday morning and realize that his four walls are paid for by the machine he built while everyone else was bidding on square footage. The sign-off. The cliff at 55 is real, but it is not inevitable. The system wants you to stay high engagement because you are their most productive resource. They want you stressed, stretched, and stationary. But by choosing a modest footprint and prioritizing liquidity, you become unharvestable. Stop building a prison for your capital. Build a bridge to your freedom instead. If this forensic audit changed how you see your peak earning years, hit that subscribe button. We are dissecting the hidden equations of the economy every week to help you build a life of genuine sovereignty. I'm Dave, and I will see you in the next one.